League 3.2. Just a little softcore take on the Boneshatter. Never really done a Boneshatter style play before. Not really much melee at all. Did some Cyclone earlier. Boneshatter jugg seemed like something that was pretty fun. Looked like it hit hard. Looked like it was pretty tanky. Looking up videos to try to get an idea on how to run Boneshatter jugg. Looked like pretty much most of the stuff was hardcore, solo self-found style builds. Apparently it's a super hardcore viable build. Not my version, but some versions. Let's see here. As you can see, I have died a lot in my quest to try to figure this out. So we'll go /deaths. 604 times. Definitely not hardcore viable. A whole bunch of that was mid-mapping and doing a bunch of swap arounds and gear stuff and this and that. But let's go ahead and start getting into it. So, passive tree, nothing too crazy. Fairly similar to most Boneshatter builds. I did come up into here, into some of the two-handed stuff, the strength. The idea originally was to get into like a strength, pseudo-strength stacker style build. For the accuracy and attack speed, that ended up kind of falling to the wayside. Picked up some all-res over here just to kind of curb some of what I was missing in my gear. I came up here in the mace tree. I'm going for like a stun lock kind of style, which was the idea I had picked up from the hardcore side. I saw one soft core that kind of went into axe. That seems like the big difference between softcore, hardcore. Softcore goes axe and crit. Hardcore tends to go stun duration, stun threshold reduction, things like that. I just went softcore mace for the stuns, and the extra little layer of survivability helps out quite a bit. Trees fairly similar to everything that you see on most Boneshatter style builds, aside from, this little tree here. Some of them take this stuff out. The Ellie-res stuff, is not typically there. One thing I did a little different, since I am in softcore and I'm able to purchase, I went ahead and went with the new Fire Song Jewel for the ignite duration to all elemental ailments, so that I become immune to ignites and shocks. I am immune to freezes and stuns through the Juggernaut Ascendancy. Ignites were just messing me up, man. They were wiping me out. It didn't matter. I had, 80 all-res, overcapped, I had crazy armor, good life. For some reason, ignite damage just jacked me up. So I swapped into the Fire Song. I haven't tried to run it recently without it. It's just kind of quality of life thing. And it's easy to cap out your ignite duration reduction. I also went over here into this, so I got the Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Rite of Ruin to triple the effects of Rage. So I'm getting 25% attack speed off of my Rage, 50% attack speed from my Rage now, instead of the typical 25, which is nice. The increased attack damage, the move speed. This was just, in my mind, perfect for what I wanted for this build. To triple my rage and get that just brutal damage from the Berserker. So I got the Forbidden Flesh, I got the Forbidden Flame, I got the Forbidden Flesh over here with Rite of Ruin as well. I got the Fire Song. I came down here, I picked up a pretty cheap Watcher's Eye. I'm running Vitality and Determination, so the Life Leech. The Reduce Reflected is no big deal. I would have liked it to be flat armor, but I think it only cost me like 50 C, so it wasn't really too big of a deal. And it was a little bit of extra leech, some extra life. Came down here, got into some of the guard skill stuff for the Molten Shell. Came down here into this big two-hand tree, got the stun duration, the attack speed, which is huge in Boneshatter, because the faster you hit, the more stacks you can build up, the more damage you do. Some life mastery, just percent life, and the vitality reservation. So that's pretty much my tree right there. Ascendancies, totally normal. Came down here first and got Untiring. This is pretty much mandatory before you can run Boneshatter. If you have some decent life regen, you might be able to get away with it. This just is huge because you're dealing physical damage to yourself. You're preventing some of that physical damage through your armor, regenerating, so you are boosting your own life regeneration by attacking and dealing damage to yourself. Came up here, got the accuracy, the attack speed, twice strength. Came over here to get Unbreakable. Doubled my body armor. 8% of the armor applies to the damage taken from hits, which is very nice. Got the Unstoppable. Last for the increased move speed, can't be stunned. The action speed and the move speed that can't be modified below base value basically makes you immune to chills, freezes, stuns, temp chains, pretty much anything that's going to slow you. If you're running crazy move speed, you'll definitely feel it because, it can be modified to base value, but you can't just be locked in place. One thing with the accuracy style is I did come over here, picked up Precise Technique, which gives you 40% more attack damage as accuracy is higher than your maximum life. I'm not doing crits, so no critical strikes. Doesn't really bother me any. So you can see here, my accuracy rating is 5,000. My max life pool is 3,600. So Precise Technique has given me 40% more damage. It is your unreserved life since it's your max life. So if you reserve your life, your accuracy still has to be higher than what you have baseline. So my weapons here, I just went with the 10% strength Imperial Maul. Just, this was kind of off of my pseudo strength stacker. I think at one point I had upwards of 900 strength, and then kind of did some rearranging and things and just ended up dropping quite a bit. I had found a synthesized heavy belt that had percent strength on the implicit, so I was running that for a while. I had big strength on all my rings, and I was just basically going pseudo strength stacker. The plan was to try strength stack Boneshatter. That's kind of fallen by the wayside for now. So I just got this. I believe I essence spammed it for the attack speed, and then got the T4 percentage fizz, bench rolled some percent fizz on there, and that's the final result. Not too shabby, could be better, could be worse. It does its job though, it does well. I do have a weapon swap setup. I was running this reduced stun threshold one as well. Again, just essence spammed for attack speed. Didn't get anything too crazy. Bench rolled the increased percentage fizz at the bottom. So I just kind of go back and forth for a while. I was running the reduced stun threshold for the maps and the Imperial Maul for the bosses. Ended up just consistently running the Imperial Maul. It stuns enough on its own. I have an Awakened Brutality set up with an Anomalous Rage, which gives you 10% increased attack speed while you have at least 20 rage at full quality, which is, another good damage increase on the Boneshatter. So I'm getting, 60% attack speed at max range instead of 35%, which is massive. I have the Awakened Melee Fizz damage, which, the percent increased melee fizz, huge on the quality. I have the Divergent Life tab just so it lasts a little longer. I believe the Anomalous one is reduced cost, which I don't really want because I want to be able to get my life tap as soon as possible and try to keep it up as much as I can. So I just went with the longer duration on the life tap, and it feels pretty good. I got the Divergent Fortify for the Overwhelm of physical damage reduction while at maximum fortification. Anytime I'm in maps, I'm pretty much always maximum fortification, especially against bosses. So the Overwhelm just feels a little bit better, just adding on to an extra little bit of penetration to the Boneshatter. I have the Anomalous Boneshatter for the reduced enemy stun threshold. Again, just kind of going for that, stun style of Boneshatter. I know the Divergent gives you, I believe, increased attack speed per so many trauma stacks, which is ginormous. That's huge. But since I went with the Flesh and Flame, I got the Anomalous Rage. I might end up picking up the Divergent just to test it out, see how it feels, get my trauma stacks up a little higher, get my damage up a little bit more. I don't know, we'll see. I'm still messing around with it. My helmet, I have a Molten Shell, I have an Intimidating Cry for the up to 30% physical damage reduction overwhelm, and the just 2 attacks dealing double damage is massive too. I got the Leap Slam for my movement skill, feels good on alternative behavior because you're just leaping around, you move, you boogie when you got rage stacks. All of it's on life tap, pretty much everything I have here is on life tap. I'm reserving all of my mana. My armor 6 link. Oh, the Boneshatter, +1 trauma implicit on the Abyssus. This hurts for quite a while on the Abyssus, but, you know, mess around a little bit in your tree, figure stuff out here or there. This was an enormous DPS boost on the Abyssus. It hurt, I died a bunch from it for a while. Did some reworking around, spec some skills in, kind of reworked my gear a little bit, and it feels amazing now, melting. My 6 link armor. So my armor, I haven't seen one in any trade house that has higher armor than this for sale. I know that's not much. It's about 400 under a lower rolled brass dome. Percentage armor could be better. Could be, you know, max life and the percentage max life from Gravicious Betrayal. But I mean, it does good. It does its job. I got the 9 to all res from the Eater. I got the increased global fizz from Searing. And, you know, it's doing its job. Might craft something a little better, but for now that one gets me through. The 6 link, I have the Phantasmal Ancestral Protector. I've been running a ton of Heist, making a killing off of Heist. This character does extremely well in those. So, I mean, why not if I'm making good currency and I can get some gems that I could use in the process? Well, it sounds like a plan to me. So I got the Phantasmal Ancestral Protector, which is the increased effect of Ancestor Totem buffs, which is nice. Level 2120, easy corruption. I got the Multi-Strike in there for their attack speed. I got the multiple totem support, of course. The Brutality. I have the Ancestral War Chief in there with it, which is why I called for the multiple totems, so you can have 2 of a War Chief and 1 of a Protector, or 2 of a Protector and 1 of a War Chief. I don't think they double up on the buff if you have 2 of either. I think it's just you have 2 of them out at a time. Again, with the life tap support. My boots, I have the Anomalous Petrified Blood for the extra 5% of life loss below half-life being prevented, and then 69% of that damage through the corruption. Typically 60% is prevented over 4 seconds on top of the 81% that it gives you baseline. So I'm at 150% of life loss prevented. Under half-life is lost over 4 seconds. I have the Determination. I have the Anomalous Arctic Armor, which is really nice. The less fire damage from hits while stationary is feeling pretty good. The less physical damage taken from hits while stationary also feels good because you're not dealing as much damage to yourself. Kind of, you know, you don't regen as much, but at the same time you're not hitting yourself as hard. And the life regen in this build's pretty crazy, especially with the Petrified Blood. It feels pretty damn tanky. The Anomalous version gives you a 20% chance to freeze for 350 milliseconds when hit, which feels good. The stuns, the freezes, you know, the chilled ground to reduce their action speed. While it's only a half a second, it still is every little bit of defensive layer just kind of all adds up together. I'm running the Vitality. I have the Divergent Precision for the increased damage that me and nearby allies can deal. as well as the accuracy, which gives you attack speed through the Juggernaut Ascendancy. I have the War Banner for accuracy. I go back and forth between War Banner, Defiance Banner. I've just kind of been playing with the War Banner recently because I feel like I'm pretty survivable without the Defiance Banner, so might as well take a little extra damage in the War Banner with the accuracy, the taking increased physical damage, the adrenaline when you place it, and the arrogance support for all of these auras. So I am reserving, what do I got here, 23 stack decks. Go ahead and accept that real quick. Why not? So I am reserving 1,500 of my 3,600 life. So, you know, it's not too bad. Don't really lose a whole lot of life on attacking. And it goes right back up anyways, casting for free. I am running a Raslotha's Coil with a base of 40% more max fizz, 32% less minimum fizz, which gives you a bunch of damage. This is another massive DPS increase. I went ahead, threw on the physical and chaos damage modifier catalysts, boosted that up to 48% more, 38% less, as well as the 1 to 18 physical that's added flat. My amulet I had found on the trade market, paid 5C for it, had pretty much everything I needed. It had the fizz damage to attacks, it had the accuracy, the crit strike multi, no big deal because I'm not doing crits, so it doesn't really do much for me. I was originally looking for one with lightning resistance and +1 to all fizz. Since I needed lightning resistance on my amulet, I didn't really have room on anything else at the time to put lightning resistance on. This filled everything I needed, and then a bunch of stuff that I wanted. You know, has the mana leech, which really no big deal anymore since I'm reserving all my mana, but at the time I absolutely needed that mana leech. And the +1 to all fizz, of course, is always nice. I put the one with evil on it for the extra chaos res, the max chaos res. I was chaos capped at 76% through my amethyst rings. Here's where my reduced ignite duration's coming from, just a quick benchcraft on my rings. I had 2 of these, one of them had big chaos resistance on it. I was feeling really tanky, kind of got an idea for a vulnerability on hit ring, swapped out my big chaos ring for this one, and it still doesn't really feel much worse. You know, obviously losing chaos resistance, it hurts a little more, but it's nothing detrimental to me, at least. The ring is absolutely nothing special. It's basically just a curse ring. Everything else could be non-existent except for the reduced ignite duration, which these 2 rings give me overcap on my fire song. So as you can see, I'm 112% reduced duration on all of them. Ignite, chill, freeze, shock, all of that. Boots, again, nothing crazy, just some chaos boots with chaos resistance, cold resistance, fire, cold resistance. Regen was nice. I was basically just looking for some chaos boots to help cap the chaos resistance at the time. My gloves, I believe I spammed essences on. I did. I got the, I believe it was Deafening Essence of Zeal. I was spamming on these for the increased attack speed. I got the 17% to attack speed. I got the big percent armor. I got strength, so that'll give me a little bit of accuracy, help add to my attack speed a little bit. I slammed on the increased attack speed through Searing, I believe, and the Overwhelm of 9% through Eater, which is a lesser one. You can boost that up, I believe, to 17% through the Grands. So these gloves are giving me 27% attack speed, which is huge. Faster you attack with Boneshatter, more damage you do. My flask setup, so I just have the onslaught set up. Pretty much all of these are used when you use a guard skill, except for my amethyst flask. So every time I pop Molten Shell, I'm getting a big boost of damage as well as the big boost of survivability for that monster that threatens my life a little bit, or just kind of makes me need to feel a little more safe. I got the onslaught with the increased attack speed, the increased duration, so just going a little quicker. I have my 20% armor, my basalt flask on a guard skill. It's got the increased effect, the increased attack speed. So these two flasks alone are giving me 23 attack speed just off of the explicits. My sulfur flask is just increased effect, the chance to avoid being ignited, no big deal. I just caught a increased effect, didn't feel like running for anything else, so I kept that on there. An increased attack speed plus increased effect would be ideal, just to add to this 23% plus onslaught, which gives you 20%, so I'm getting 33% attack speed just off my onslaught flask. And then my amethyst flask is used when become poisoned. It's just an immunity to poison flask with some extra chaos res, just to stop the dots. This build is very, very susceptible to any kind of damage over time. That's not very easily mitigated with this style. My life flask's not really super duper necessary. Sometimes pop it. It's more reflex than anything, just to pop that life flask when you kind of feel that oh shit moment coming. It's just immunity to bleeding, which I don't really need. My Pantheon, I went with the reduced or no extra damage if you move, the reduced physical damage over time. So really, I can't be bled, I can't be corrupted through my passives, through the resistance mastery. Solid Gruthkle, I just went for the phys damage reduction for each hit you've taken, up to a maximum of 5. I don't know if you hitting yourself works for this through Boneshatter, so I'm not sure if, because I'm technically hitting them as well as myself, if that counts as me being hit in the same kind of way. I'm not really sure how they calculate that, but even still, if I get hit, it's nice just to have that little bit of extra phys damage reduction. I think that's pretty much everything here. Atlas passive setup is nothing crazy. Just got a lot of the map stuff just to try to, kind of keep me along, help that out a little bit. I'm probably going to respec a bunch of this soon. I went into heist. Like I said, I've been running heist like crazy. Bulk buying deception contracts, bulk buying the unusual gem blueprints, and just having no issues with it. Making a ton of currency off of the stack decks, ton of currency off the, alternate quality gems, and just all the raw stuff that drops in there too. Have a bunch of the Kirax stuff just for the scouting reports. Spam the map device for free maps was always nice. I have a bunch of stuff in here, just the extra map to be a tier higher chance. Quantity, again, just a lot of map stuff. I got a little bit of Beyond over here, just because this guy farms. If it's pack size and stuff, like you're gonna shine when you're surrounded. Not that the single target damage isn't, really good. It's you're not really too worried about being in a giant mob, and it feels good because Boneshatter has an AoE that's based off the stun duration, so if you increase your stun duration, your AoE gets higher, and you're just popping whole mobs out. I went into a bunch of the Searing stuff, just decided to farm Searing Exarch. I know a lot of people are going for Eater of the Worlds for the Divine Shrine. Haven't really seen, I think my buddy got one for the map boss drops, 4 additional. From my understanding, you're better off running Searing just because I'm consistently getting the Chaos Shrines, I'm getting the Regret Shrines, the Unmaking Shrines, the Unique Armor Shrines, just all kinds of, just consistent stuff instead of just running Eater and hoping I find that, the Eldritch Minions drop Divines or the map boss drops Divines. I like having consistent intake instead of one big payout. I'm not really the gambler type. Some Beyond stuff here. Just a little bit, not much. Went into all this big Eater tree over here. The only thing I didn't do was get the Uber Eater. Got some synth map stuff. Just kind of like some slight boss farm kind of style addition. Some more heist stuff over here. More heist stuff over here. And Harbingers. I've been running Harbingers pretty much since League start. Got a ton of the Fracturing Shards, sold those off, made some decent early League currency off of the Fracturing Shards to kind of start helping it get up and going with items and whatnot. A little bit of Sulfite here, just for the pact with energy, you know, the all max res, the increased damage, so you're getting 95% damage, you're getting 45% move speed. I like to delve. It's not really super profitable. I just kind of dig it down there. So, you know, getting sulfite in your maps and just kind of getting those little extra bonuses, it kind of feels good to me. Again, Harbingers, Kira, nothing crazy. I'm not doing any like wild 5-head Atlas strat, not really following any big money, you know, streamer strat or anything like that. I'm just farming the stuff I like. You know, I really like Harbinger. It's fun. It adds to your pack size. It feels good. You know, I like the Beyond a little bit with the new changes to the Tainteds. And then Heist, I've been having an absolute blast running. I've always been a fan of Heist. Don't always run it, but I've always said Heist is just a good, consistent form of consistent currency. You know, you get chaos orbs out of the chests. You get, you know, fusers, jewelers. You get 6 links, 6 aug. Like it's always really consistent, and it's not as insane as running a map. You can just kind of go in, pop some stuff, grab your shit, run out, pop in the next one. It's to me, it seems a little quicker than mapping, and I really enjoy it. You know, you can't go wrong if you're farming the content that you enjoy, because in the end, that's really all that matters, is just having some fun, trying to make some money while doing it. You can see my Boneshatter DPS just standing here in the tooltip, which is almost always wrong, sitting at 152k. 5,000 accuracy damage. This threshold reduction's only 47%. I had a stun gem in my stun duration maul, and I think it went up to like 127 something percent. But still, I can stun some bosses, you know, here and there. The overwhelm was a big thing I kind of pressed for. I didn't see many Boneshatter builds going into that overwhelm style, so I got 9% from my gloves here. I got some in the passive tree here through Bastion Breaker tree, so there's 20%. Also gives you some increased damage. 20% overwhelm here, an extra 15% from the physical mastery for 35% overwhelm. Got this big tree over here for an extra 12, so 47% overwhelm. Some life leech, some increased damage, so 47. My gloves give me 9, so you know, 56% overwhelm feels pretty good. And just attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. You know, I'm not really sure what I want to slam this ring on with the vulnerability on hit. Maybe an Elder ring. An idea I had for a maul, so I have my Crusader Imperial 6 link over here. I bought the Imperial, you know, 10C. I bought the Crusader 60C, slapped it together, and I probably spent 10 divines on essences, on the Deafening Essence of Zeal, trying to get attack speed, plus, you know, I think it's 26 to 30% reduced stun threshold, as well as 26 to 30% stun duration, plus, you know, some hybrid fizz, some percent fizz, flat added. It's a lot to ask. I think the chance of me getting everything that I want at even a T3 mod is like a 0.0001%. But in the end, I think if I can get a good attack speed, you know, the T1 Crusader stun threshold, stun duration, with even just a good hybrid percentage fizz, I could probably work my way around and craft up some other stuff on that. It's just kind of a little idea. I'm just, you know, like I said, I never played this build. I like to fiddle around with influences and mods and kind of try to optimize it to the best of my play style. And so let's go ahead and see how it runs. We'll just throw in a, what is this? A layer map, 88 quant, nothing crazy, more life, impale, less armor, shock ground, you know, no big deal. So we'll pop that in. Let's go ahead and run a Harbinger with it. Since I am out of Harbinger Scarabs, and I need to buy some more. Those crazy long PS4 load times. Gives you plenty of time to throw in a quick snack, grab a quick drink, stay hydrated, stay fueled. So you just gotta throw up your totems, do some damage, burn down a yellow mod. As you can see, you can kind of just run around with impunity. And you can see that petrified blood just doing work. Eldritch Embers, Quant. Let's go with the Embers. Not the speediest. You know, you're definitely not going to off-screen clear. But you can you still pretty steadily just kind of run around and do as you please. That's what we like to see, the grands. So I mean, as you can see, you're not really like too worried about much. One thing that does really mess up this build is the map mod. Monsters can't be stunned. It just feels really, really bad. You're not getting your AoE clear at all. It's all just kind of single target, which feels terrible. I didn't get into any of the increased, strike range or strike skills or anything like that. It's all just really, really basic fizz damage kind of stuff. And no problems at all. Level 83, I'm currently level 93. I'm just kind of running around enjoying the build, running some content that I like, not really pressing super hard for levels, not really, just trying much of anything. Currently in the process of saving for the Awakened Multi-Strike. It's currently going for, I believe, a minimum of 33 Divines on PS4. A little bit of an investment, but it should only take a few days. Day, 2, maybe 3. We're just kind of hang around. Don't really grind too hard. A lot of altars in this one, it feels good. Lesser scarabs. Not really too interested in any of those. Haven't tried a breach in a while. So I mean, as you can see, you can really just kind of hang out in the middle of whatever and just kind of throw out your attacks and pop your Molten Shell once in a while and do some damage. Maps. Okay. Don't really care about the quest contracts too much. Exploding orbs. Yeah, see? I guess that's what happens sometimes, huh? Pump all these back, get a run. 605 deaths now. You know, but it's softcore. Who cares about deaths? You got 6 portals to finish the map anyway. That's why they give them to you, right? It really shines on the bosses. It does really well in maps for the most part, you know? Aside from the occasional just random death here and there. Mistiming the vault, or the molten shell. Taking more damage than you should without it. I haven't tried to run a Sanctum with them in quite some time. Haven't really been running a whole lot of maps, honestly. Just kind of been hanging out in the Rogue Harbor. I guess that was the Harbinger. Jump portal on the boss. Ah, you've transformed. Waste of flasks. That's alright. Boss damage isn't terrible, huh? Oh, he got me. Rip. But, well, you know, that's pretty much the build. 2 deaths and a showcase. Just to kind of show you, it's not hardcore viable. At least for me, not my hardcore viable. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just figured I'd share a little bit and put it on there. Let me know any questions, any suggestions. Catch you guys next time.